Okay, so here's our first problem to look at. Assume that we are solving for C. Okay, so the first thing you want to think about here is, are you given an angle and a side pair?
Yes.
You're given an angle and a side across an angle. Yes. Now, we're trying to find C. I like to put the thing that you're trying to solve for in the top left. That's my preference. It's just something I've always done that I think works really well. And then you write the equation from that point. So it's now sine big C on the bottom. And then on the top right has to be another side, which is B over sine big B. And you're supposed to have 3 of the 4. Do you have the 3 of the 4?
Yes.
Yes. So the transformation here is, we don't have that, but we have sine 53 equals 7 over sine 44. Right? And these are all calculator problems. You're not going to have to do any of these by hand. You don't have to look them up in a table. You don't do any of that. But you do have to know how to solve this. Now, what I like to do is I like to actually clear out this sine 53 on the bottom. And you do that by multiplying both sides by sine 53. So let me just reframe this problem a little bit to show you that. Sine 53, sine 53. On the left, they cancel. So when you're going to your calculator, you can enter all this in at one time. It's 7 sine 53 divided by sine 44. Make sure your mode is in degrees. Okay. Will you grab a calculator and give that a try, please?
Yes. Um, 3.9.
Okay, we have different answers. Are you in degrees? Maybe we have different everything. 7 sine 53 divided by sine 44.
Oh, wait.
Wait, yes, that, yeah. Go ahead.
I got 8 this time.
Yeah, 8.05.
Yeah,
And
I
depending,
didn't do it right the first time.
that's okay. We're doing practice. So sometimes they tell you like, oh, it's in meters. You're like, okay, so my answer is in meters, if that is the case.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so this was an example of a problem where you were solving for the side. Okay, so let me give you another one like this and see if let me find one here. All right. Sorry, they just, the first couple I looked at, they didn't give me what I want here. This is really frustrating. Okay. Really struggling here. Oh boy. All right, let me make this one up here because they're not giving me what I want. So here's A, B, and C. This let's see here. We've got C is 40 degrees. B is 22 degrees. This is 24, and I want you to find little b.
Okay.
So go ahead and work that out. Let me know if you have any issues with that.
Okay.
Any questions on this or anything I can answer while you're working through it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Is it 13.99?
So roughly 14, we'll say.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, great. So new problem here to look at. We'll look at this one together. So here's a problem, and assume that they're asking you to solve for, I want to say this, B, for example, okay? Do you have an angle and a side pair of known values? Like, do you have B and big B? The answer is no, because you don't know B. Do you have big A and little a?
You can solve for big A, right?
Exactly, exactly. So sometimes they don't give you that one, and you have to use the fact that all angles add to 180. Okay, so in this problem, you've got 164, so this is 16 degrees. Now you can solve for B. B is B over sine 101 equals, you've got to use the known side, so 9 over sine 16, like that. Any questions on that? Because that's the first type of law of sines problem. Now we'll go to the second.
No, that's good.
Okay. All right, so the next type of problem you will see is one where you're solving for the angle. So we just did the type of problems where you're solving for the side. Okay, let me label this A, B, and C. Okay, we're solving for angle B, which is given as X. So whenever you're solving for an angle, I'm going to use B in this problem, sine B. You have to have the side across from it, which you have. But again, I like to put the thing that you're trying to find in the top left. That's just my preference. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it that way. It's just something I think will be better long term. You have to use an angle side pair that's given. So sometimes they don't give you what you want, and you have to do that calculation. Here we have another angle side pair. We have sine 42. Well, actually, let me use the labels again. Sine C over little c. And we have 3 of the 4. This is what we want. So little b is 22. Sine C is 42 over 17. Our goal is to solve for sine B. Basically, we got to get sine B by itself and then undo sine with inverse sine or arc sine. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
So to do this, we're going to clear the fraction on the left by multiplying both sides by 22. So on the left, they cancel. On the right, what I like to do is I like to actually move it in front. So you'll see it this way, sine B equals 22 over 17 sine 42. And then do you remember from class how to undo sine?
I don't know.
So there's this trig function called sine inverse. And it works the same way that like addition and subtraction undo each other and multiplication and division undo each other. You are using the sine inverse function to undo sine. So on the left here, when you're at this sine inverse, it's basically saying like undo sine. So you just get B. On your calculator, you'll notice if you hit the second button and sine, you will get the sine inverse there. So will you try entering this on the right side in the calculator for us, please? And let me know what you come up with.
Is it 59.9?
So maybe 60
Yeah.
meters. Good. So the setup's a little bit different. You start with sine B instead of the side B. The angles go on the top instead of the sides going on the top. You can flip that equation if you go back to what I was showing you earlier here. You can flip the equation, or you can use it like this. You've got to kind of decide how you want to use this. There's not like a right or a wrong way to do this. It's however it works for that particular problem.
Okay.
Okay, so any questions on this one though, before I give you one like it to try on your own?
No.
All right, I'm just trying to find one that I like. All right, here's a good one. All right, so I want you to find angle C in this problem, the measure of angle C.
Okay.
Any questions on this for me or any?
Um, um, when you set the equation up, it would be sine C equals arc sine equals arc sine 21/26 times sine 88.
Yeah, so when you take the arc sine, it undoes the sine, so you just write the angle. This is what I heard, and this is correct.
Okay.
Like it is sine C until you take the arc sine, and then it undoes that.
Okay. Is it 53.8?
Yes, C is 53.8. Very good. Okay, doing real good here. The next type of problems that you will see are those where you have to draw the triangle yourself and give you one of those now for us to look at together. Okay, yeah, this one will work. There's a few other cases to get to, so I'm trying to find ones that don't create any issues to start. We can do this. So there are instructors out there that want you to draw your triangles really accurately. If you notice the way I've been drawing it, I've been assuming that they're all acute angles, which is not the case here. This is not 145 degrees drawn correctly, but
Yeah.
like unless you're asked to draw the triangle accurately, I would recommend just drawing it the same way each time, because it's very difficult to decide unless you've got a ruler and a protractor and a compass to like really get this down exactly. So I would, it's kind of an all or nothing for me. They're giving you 33 and they're giving you B is 7, right? And this time though, they're asking you to solve the triangle. And here's what that means. It's really a table. I've never seen a teacher do this, but I would actually do it on the tester, because I would actually have a table and you have to fill in the table. So you have to come up with the values of A, B, and C, little a, little b, little c. And some of them are given, right? Big C is 145. Little b is 7, little c is 33. But you have to fill in the other 3 here. All right. And the question is, well, what do we do first? Well, you go for the one that is the most direct. And notice they're giving you an angle side pair and another side. So can you find angle B? That's my question. Can you find angle B?
Yes.
You can. So sine B over 7 equals sine 145 over 33. At some point, you stop writing the equation. You just write the angle side pairs together and then the angle side pairs together. It gets a little cumbersome to remember, like, well, is it A? Is it B? Is it, what is it?
Yeah.
And okay, From here, you multiply both sides by 7. Take the inverse sine, arc sine. So B is sine inverse 7 over 33 sine 45, like that. Can you go ahead and calculate that for us, please?
Yes. Um, 8.6.
They only rounded. Let me double check here. Did I give you the right values? 145, 33. Yeah. Okay. There's a small, are you rounding as you go, or are you putting all this into the calculator?
All into the calculator.
Okay. I ask because I'm trying to figure out why we're different here. So let me try this one more time. 7 over. Yes, it is 8.6.
Okay.
Oh, that's really odd. So I pull these from the internet, and I just I'm not trying to redo the calculations, but they have a mistake in their answer key. All right, how do you find angle A?
Um,
What do you know about the 3 angles in a triangle?
they all add to 180.
Yes. So that's enough information to
Solve for.
solve for A. Yeah.
Okay. Big A is 153.6.
So all the angles in the triangle have to add up to 180. And
Oh,
I know that 153 plus 145 is definitely bigger than 180.
yeah.
Go ahead and try that one more time.
Um, 26.4.
Okay, that sounds more reasonable. Now, how can we find side A?
Just plug in big A to the equation with another pair.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to grab the triangle down here just to kind of show that. So when you want to find A, you're going to take the sine of 26.4. And then you have a choice. You can actually use B, little b and big B, or you can use little c and big C. And the choice really comes down to how confident you are in your intermediate calculation. I sort of tell students it's better to kind of go back to the one that you were given, but it's not necessary. You could use either one and you should get the same answer.
Okay.
Let me know when you got that value for A, please.
Um, 25.6.
Yes. So if you go back, you fill in your table, I would organize your answers like this. I wouldn't sort of have them all over the place. I would sort of summarize them either at the beginning or the end. Even the given values makes it much easier to grade, much easier to show that you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So when it says to solve the triangle, which you will get problems where it says to solve the triangle, they are expecting you to find the missing values.
Right. Okay.
So
Got
you
it.
have to be on the lookout for that. So let me give you another one here to try on your own. Snip this in. So if you really don't like the letters K, J, and L, you can switch to A, B, and C. Doesn't bother me. If you're okay with the letters, that's fine. But I'm looking for K, J, and L. J, K, L? What's the alphabetical order on that one? J, K, L. J, K, L. All right. And then little j, little k, little l. All right, so we got 42, 84, and then 50. What should you find first? Or what could you find first? We could say it that way, maybe better.
You could find little j first.
Okay, I agree. Could you also find big angle L?
Yes.
Yes. And then if you found big angle L, you could then find little l.
Yes.
But it's up to you. You can find J and then angle L and then little l. But go ahead and work this out. Let me know when you get your answers as you go. That way I can check them. And if there's an issue, I'll let you know right away.
Okay. Okay. Big L 54 degrees.
Yeah, 54 degrees for sure. Do you have either of the sides yet?
Not yet. Okay, little j 33.6.
Good. Meters, if you need to. And then go ahead and determine the other value.
Okay, little L 40.7 meters.
Yes, that's correct. Okay. All right. So you're doing great. This is, there's like we've probably figured out 80% of this. The last little piece are the exceptions. I know that's the most exciting part of math is when you think you've got it and it's like, wait, there's problems that don't work out this way. Yes. Okay. There are. So again, I don't try to think too much about what it actually looks like. I just draw it A, B, C, 35 degrees, 24, 6. And it says to solve the triangle. So we're going to first find C. So I'm sorry, we're going to find, take that back. We're going to find angle A. I guess we should circle that. So angle A, sine A over 24 equals sine 35 over 6. Is the setup of this okay for you? Angle over side, angle over side.
Yes, makes
All right.
sense.
All right. So if we solve for A is the arc sine of 24 divided by 6 times sine of 35. So
Okay,
will you put that in your calculator and let me know what you come up with?
yes.
Do you have something similar to what I've got on the screen here? Maybe yours says error.
Says error, yeah.
Yeah. So this is bad. Like when you put something in your calculator, it says error. The first thing you might wonder is, well, did I enter it correctly? And you should look out for that. You should say, okay, let me just do the calculation one more time, clear the screen, make sure that it actually is what you said it should be, or what you put it in the calculator the way you think you were supposed to. This is the case where there is no triangle. There's absolutely no triangle. Okay. And that's why this error occurs. Now let's try to draw it physically to see what that means. So I'm going to start with this 24 here. Let's call that 24.
Mhm.
And then what we don't know is we don't know where B is. We don't know whether B is here or if it's here. Okay, but in either case, let's just say it's there. or it's there, okay? The measure of angle B, 35 degrees, 35 degrees. Is this possible? Like, is there a way? And we're trying to decide is like, can we connect to another? Can we make another the triangle out of these, given that other one? Okay, and the answer is, well, if we know that A is up here or A is up here, we're going to have some issues. Okay, so the math dictates that this is an impossible problem to draw, or impossible triangle to draw. The trying to construct the triangle as is very, very difficult because you don't know where the angles fit. So the conclusion here for this type of problem is to double check your calculation, but there could be no triangle. So that's exception number one. Exception number one is that there's no triangle. Exception number two, probably didn't think there'd be two exceptions.
Yeah.
I could sense the excitement. Exception number two is that there are two triangles possible. And this is where most students are just, they just throw up their arms and say, I quit, can't, what do you mean two triangles?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So here's your new problem here. Measure of angle A. A is 70. This is 25. Let me do it this way. Yeah. I'm drawing this one slightly different to help with this, but let's solve for angle C. So sine big C over 26 equals sine 70 over 25. So when we solve for C here, it's the arc sine of 26 over 25 sine 70. Will you calculate that for us, please?
Yes. Um, 77.8.
Yes. C is 77.8. Okay. Now this is completely non-obvious, but this is what you now do. You take that angle you just found and you subtract it from 180.
Okay.
Okay, and I hope you get 102.2.
Yes.
And what you're wondering is if you use the aforementioned 70 and add it to that, is there still room for another angle? Basically, is this less than 180?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the scenario where you get two triangles. Okay. Now, that was a lot to take in. So let's go back and look at some previous problems and see why they didn't have two triangles here. Okay. That was the exception here. Okay. When we found angle B, if you remember, B was 8.6. Okay.
Mm.
So when we took if we take 8.6 and subtract it from 180, this ends up being 171.4. If we add the other angle that we were given, is 145. Do you see how that's too large?
Yes.
So you take the calculated angle, subtract from 180, you add the given angle, which was 145, and if it's too large, there's not a triangle. Let's go back and look at another. Notice we found C. if we take C, we subtract from 180, 180 minus 53.8, that equals what? 126.2. And if we add the given angle 88, do you see that it is too large?
Yes.
It's more than 180. Okay, so that would be true of all the ones that we've done today, where you're finding the angle here. We did probably the same thing here for this one. Okay, I think this might have been 60 degrees, not M. So when you have a scenario where there's room, here's what you have to do. We don't have time to do all this, but this is what you have to do. You have to make two triangles. Okay, so you have your original A, B, C, little a, little b, little c. Okay, and let's go ahead and label what was given. 70 for A. Sorry, I got my snips all over the place. Okay, 70 for A, 26 for C, and 25 for A. You take this information and you copy it, and you found C was 77.8, but what there really is there's a new C that you could have. Your new C is 102.2. And that means you also have a new B and a new little b. And what you have to do from here is solve the triangles without or with that extra information. Now it looks worse than it actually is. You can find the missing angles by subtracting from 180, and then you have to use law of sines one time to find the side. But you should be on the lookout for that. You might even want to ask about that in class. But we are at the end of our lesson for today, so we're going to have to unfortunately stop right here, not be able to finish up this problem, but